Greetings, it's Iain from RTO here. Welcome to the start of another week, and it's a pretty sort of muggy week or red start already. It's quite warm. It's early in the morning because it's going to be really hot today, so we're recording early, so we can just do this in the heat, but it's quite mild at the moment. Okay, end enough of the weather. We're going to kick off this week with a viewer's request, and it's a band from a heavy metal band. But they were more melodic than their contemporaries such as Iron Maiden and Saxon. And they are praying Mantis. Now this band formed back about 1973 by the Troy brothers, Tino and Chris. They've had some very interesting people play in this band. 3 members of Iron Maiden have played in this band. Only one has recorded though. Dennis Stratton was guitar on a lot of these albums, and playing live, Clive Burr, was on drums sometime for a little while on touring, and even Paul Di'Anno has sang with this band, although he never recorded. I think he's on a live album though. They were influenced of Neil Kay, the DJ. The bandwagon, who also helped get Iron Maiden on the bandwagon, as they say. So they had someone really well promoted them. Now they have released 12 albums over the years, and they've had numerous people in the band. So we'll have a crack at these. So coming in at number 12, we get a 1991 and the Predator in Disguise album. Playing on here, we have on drums and backing vocals Bruce Bisland or Byland. On guitars, vocals and piano Tino Troy. Lead guitar and lead vocals Dennis Stratton. Lead vocals and bass Chris Troy. So there's not a vocalist as such. It was just the rest of the band taking in turns. So the first track is called Can't See the Angels. There is just far too much keyboard on this one. It doesn't sound right. She's Hot. I don't know who sings this, but it's not very good. The music sounds okay, but the singing's a little bit to be desired. Can't Wait Forever. Probably one of the weakest tracks on here. It's pretty mediocre. It's just going through the motions sort of song. This Time Girl, it's still got that very late 80s sound with the cheesy keyboards. It's a bit late for the decade. We're in the 90s now. Time Slipping Away, it's not too bad. It's quite melodic in places. Some nice guitar work actually on it, but it's not my favourite track. It's only apart from some of the little bits of guitar. Listen What Your Heart Says. It's not the best. Again, it's very mediocre. Still Want You. I think because there's not a proper vocalist on here. The guys, I mean, they did a reasonable job, but it just very mediocre. Now, my favourite track on here is an instrumental called The Horn. The playing on this is fantastic. They play well. They just couldn't handle the vocals. Battle Royal, it's okay. It's got a great solo on it though from Dennis, and that's the only thing I can say about it. Only You is a bit of a spoken word. You can hardly hear the vocal though. Borderline comes next, and this one is pretty decent actually. Probably the second best track on the track. It's got a decent beat to it. Okay, this is a very strange album for me. There's not what I call a proper lead singer on it. You know, the rest of the guys take over and share the duties. I don't play this album very often because I just find it a bizarre one. It's going through the motions. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. Okay then, coming at number 11 Now, this is the fourth album, and it's from 1995, and it's called To the Power of 10. On here is Tino Troy on lead guitar and vocals, Chris Troy on the bass, Dennis Stratton on lead and rhythm guitars, Gary Barden from MSG on lead vocals, and Bruce Byland on the drums. First track on here is called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Gary Barden's vocal is pretty good. The song's not very melodic metal, but it's still a very good song, actually. I don't mind that one. Bring on the Night. The guitar work on this one from Tino and Dennis is great. Really interplay. It's a great vocal again. Ball of Confusion. It's okay until they're overladen with keyboards. Welcome to My Hollywood. Good track. Great vocal from Gary Barden. The guitars are good. It's definitely that melodic sounding metal. Another Time, Another Place. It's not very heavy metal, this one. To the Power of the 10, it's more AOR, and it's not very good. I don't like that one. Little Angel is one of these clapping hands in the air sort of nonsense. Not the best. Victory, the horrible cheesy keyboard doesn't sound right, but the guitars do. Only the Children Cry. Best track on the album, without a doubt. Great vocal from Gary, some nice guitar work as well. Night and Day is a very solid track. I don't mind that one. Then Angry Man. Second favourite track on this one. The interplay between Dennis and Tino is great. That great twin guitar, back and forth sound. Really good. Mixed bag for me, this one. Excuse me. It's got some really good rock tracks and some very dodgy pop songs. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 5.5. Okay, coming in number 10, we get a 1993 now, and a different lineup of the band, but it's still Chris on bass, Bruce on the drums, Dennis on the guitars, Tino on guitars, and a new singer called Colin Peel. First track on here, on Cry for a New World, is called Rise Up Again. A good song. Colin Peel, nice vocal. It's probably one of the higher pitched vocals we've heard of for Praying Mantis, but it's good. The guitar work is as good as ever from Tino and Dennis. Then we have the title track, A Cry for the New World. Bassline from Chris is great. Drives the riffs along. Another really fine performance on the vocals by Colin. A Moment in Life. Interesting track, this one. It's a bit weird to start, but once it gets going, it's got a nice ring to it. It's a very good track. Letting Go, a great guitar solo on this. Very melodic, not a bad track. One Chance, it's not too bad either. Pretty solid track. Dangerous, I'm not a great lover of this song. It needs a little bit more beef. It's a little bit translucent. Fight to Be Free, it's just one of them tracks. It's neither a melodic rock track or a heavy metal track. It's more poppy. Open Your Heart, great keyboard intro actually. It's not too bad. Dream On, very cheesy. Clap Your Hands. The best track on here is The Journeyman. I love the start of it, that keyboard, and it's one of them tracks that's really melodic rock. Very, very good. Then we have the Final Eclipse, the last track. Lovely intro, the keyboard, pretty good vocal, and it's a nice sound. Another mixed bag here, but it's a pretty half decent album. I don't mind listening to this one. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 5.6. Okay, coming in number 9, go to the 6th album. Big gap. This is from 2000 and it's Nowhere to Hide. Different singer again. It's Chris, Bruce, Dennis and Tino with Tony O'Hora on vocals now. Nowhere to Hide. Another great, he's a good singer. Some great guitar tracks on this. Very, very good track. Cruel Winter, a little bit poppy, but it's not a bad track actually. It's quite catchy. The Clock Tower is brilliant. The bass line from Chris is super. Some great drumming on here from Bruce. Excellent track. Can't Stop the Fire, a great melodic song. Some nice guitar work on this. The keyboards sound right. Really good. Future of the World, that twin guitar sounds fantastic. I love the melodic sound it makes. It's a great song all round. Great vocal, great arrangement. Whenever I'm lost. We'll have a swig first. Oh, still trying to shake off this. This Whenever I'm Lost, it's a really good bower. Got them real strong power chords. Great vocal from Tony. I do like that track. You Never Know. Middle of a road, sort of pleasant track. It's okay. River of Hope. Very cheesy vocal on the chorus. No, I didn't like that one. Then we have a track called Naked. I like the guitar work on this. It's so intricate. Wonderful stuff. Then the last song, SOS, a really good power ballad. And then harmony singing. Brilliant. I do like that. I think this is a pretty solid album. Not a bad start to the new millennium. Excellent tracks on here. And I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 8, we have the 5th album from 1998. And it's called Forever in Time. So we've got Chris on the bass, Bruce on the drums, Dennis on guitars with Tino, and again Tony O'Hora on the vocals. Wasted Years, nothing to do with Iron Maiden. It's a great opening track. The interplay between Tino and Dennis is brilliant. I love how they work off each other. It's a great track. The Messiah, this is very Mystique. It's got a great vocal from Tony, probably one of the best ones he did while he was in the band. Excellent track. Best Years is a great track, but it's got a little cheesy keyboard in it, which sort of doesn't spoil it, but I wish it wasn't there. Blood of an Angel, great bit of keyboard at the beginning of this, and then you got the guitars come in from the guys. Excellent track. Valley of the Kings, another good track. The guitar work from Dennis and Tino is brilliant. There's a great solo on this one. Changes, nothing to do with Black Sabbath. Melodic, great little bass line from Chris. Great guitar work, excellent track all round. Man Behind the Mask. Some delicate and intricate guitar work on this. They don't just do heavy riffs, they can play some nice melodic stuff. Fantastic guitar work on that one. Remember My Name, excellent power ballad. The keyboards work perfect on here. They sort of enhance the power chords. Excellent track. The Day the Sun Turned Cold. Fast and Furious now for Praying Mantis. This is really heavy. It's an absolutely belting track. Forever in Time, the last track. It's a bit of that end of the album track. It's not the best one on the album, sort of probably the weak one. It's a pretty consistent album. I don't think they really put out a bad album at all. It's just a few tracks that they on the albums. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay, then coming in at number 7 from 2009, an album called Sanctuary. On here, a few change-up people. Bass and vocals and keyboards, Chris Troy. Drummer is now Benji Reed. Guitars, Andy Burgess and Tino Troy. And another lead singer, Mike Freeland. So the first track on this one is called In Time. The guitar solo is fantastic. I don't know if it's Andy or Tino, but it really is good. It's a great vocal. Mike Freeland, they have always had good singers. He fitted into it, and this song was good. Restless Heart. Some really good drumming here from Benji. That double bass drum sounds great. Excellent guitar work on this as well. Tears in the Rain, my favourite track on here. I love all the guitar work on this. A great little bass line from Chris as ever. Driving the song along is wonderful stuff. So High, another great vocal from Mike. Driving riffs, it really worked. Excellent track. Turn the Tide comes next. A little slowish melodic track, but excellent. The vocal from Mike is good as well. Touch of the Rainbow, great sort of bass line on this from Chris. It really drives the song along. It's the glue of that song. Threshold of a Dream, some acoustic guitar at the beginning of this. It's really good before you get the power metal chords. Excellent. Playing God, really good guitar solo on this. There's lots of little guitar licks on that. It's really good. Then we get High Wide. This is one of these tracks with a little bit of keyboard on it. It's really catchy. I think it's a good track. And then we have Sanctuary, the last track. Certainly got that last track of the album. Not as strong as the rest. We have a pretty solid album again. Really good songs on this one. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.6. Okay, then coming in at number 6, we go to 2015 and the Legacy album. It's got Tino Troy on here on rhythm and lead guitar and keyboards. Chris Troy on the backing vocals. Andy Burgess on guitars now. And Jan Kuipers, I think that's how you pronounce his name, on the lead vocals now. And Hans Zant on drums. Now this is the band now. This is the lineup they have now. Fight for Your Honor. Really good guitar work here between Andy and Tino. John's vocal, I think he's a very good singer. I do like his vocals with Praying Mantis. His style suits. Good track. The one, a lovely melodic sound on this. Great drumming from Hans. And a great bass line. The play between the bass and drums on this is fantastic. Believable. The guitar work again is great. Excellent track. Tokyo, I love the start of this. The keyboards at the beginning are fantastic and the guitar work is just brilliant. Better Man, a great vocal from John. I love this track. Some really good harmonies on this one as well. Very solid track. All I See, I love that hi-hat cymbal sound. Really melodic. Excellent track again. Eyes of a Child. It's one of the weaker tracks, not one of my favourites. The Runner. Everything comes in. I love the keyboard. I love how it keeps fading in and out of this track. Brilliant guitar from Andy and Tino. Again, they sort of play off each other. Great track, but my favourite track on here is Against the World. You got Tino's great keyboard intro, which is pretty amazing. He's a very good keyboard player. And then the guitars take over. It's dramatic. It's got some really good licks in it. Excellent track. Fallen Angel comes next. Another solid track. The guitar work once again is very good. Second time around. This one's got some of that Scandinavian rock feel to it. The drumming on this from Hans is brilliant. I love this track. I think this present lineup of the band are really good. They've made some strong albums. I'd say this is one of my favourite periods of Praying Mantis as well. It's just a solid album all the way through. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 5, we have the 10th album from 2018, Graffiti. It is Tino, Chris, Andy, John and Hans. First track is one of my favourites off this album. It's called Keep It Alive. Great vocal from John. You've got some great drumming on here. from Hans, the guitars from Tino and Andy ripping it up as ever. Mantis Anthem. This is what I call classic sounding praying Mantis. I love the sound they get. The keyboard from Tino is just wonderful. Really solid track. Time Can Heal. Again, definitely one of my favourites on here. The guitar solos are absolutely brilliant. It's a little bit commercial, but it's still a good song. 39 Years. The keyboard on this is very interesting. It's sort of comes in and out again, and you got a really nice guitar solo on this. I do like it. Then we have Gravity. This is a very solid track, melodic, wonderful. Then my favourite on here is Ghosts of the Past. It's Chris's bass line that really does it for me. That drums on hand are excellent, and you got the two guitars driving along with it. Excellent track. Destiny in Motion is next. I like the beginning of this. The two twin guitars working well sautés. I love that melodic sound on here. Excellent. Last Summer has got some acoustic guitar on this. It's one of John's finest vocals as well. Foreign Affair. It's okay. It's a little bit poppy, but it's still pleasant. Shadow of Love is the next track. Just a very solid track. Great bass line from Chris. Then the last track, Final Destination, my second favourite track on here. I love the orchestral sort of beginning on the keyboards. The riffs come in. John's vocal is fantastic on this. Yet another solid album. One track's not as strong as the others, but on the whole it's still a good listen. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.3. Okay, coming in at number 4. It's the 11th album from 2022, and it's called Katharsis. So once again, it's John, Andy, Tino, Chris, and Hans. First track on this one is called Cry for the Nations. I like the solitary beginning of the keyboard. When the guitars come in, it just lights the thing up, and it's a great vocal from John. Closer to Heaven. The highlight of this track is the underlying guitar work, and I don't know if it's Tino or Andy, but it's sort of this is the glue of this song. Very, very good. Then we've got Ain't No Rock and Roll in Heaven, just classic sounding praying Mantis. I do like that. Then we have Non Omnis Moria. The keyboards and the bass at the beginning of this are really good. Got a great vocal from John. Fantastic track. I do like that one. Long Time Coming, another really melodic, thoughtful track like that. Sacrifice, one of the slower tracks on here. They're renowned for just doing these great ballads. It's a very, very good track. Wheels in Motion. Tino's underlying piano through this is wonderful. It really gives it that extra depth. Masquerade comes next. My favourite track on here. John's vocal delivery is superb. It's crisp, it's powerful, and throw a few good guitar licks on and it's an all-round track. Find Our Way Back Home. A little bit poppy. I'd say this is like the single. It's a little bit different, but it's okay. Don't Call Us Now. Love the guitar from Tino on this. You know it's his style. Brilliant good. Then the last track, The Devil Never Changes. The obligatory harmony singing. It's really good. It's not a bad track to end the album on. Another good album. One track doesn't ring my bell, but the rest of it is fantastic. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, coming in at number 3 is the 12th album, the most current one, and it came out this year, and it's Defiance. Tino, Chris, Andy, John, and Hans. From the start of this is brilliant. And then you get this wonderful vocal from John. He's just a good singer, such a great sound. Defiance itself, a super song. The piano is brilliant. It's proper melodic metal. It goes back to the early days. I love it. It really is good. Feeling Lucky, The drumming from Hams is brilliant. That sort of rolly drum sound is excellent, especially towards the beginning of the track. I Surrender. Now this is a very, as I said when I reviewed it, it's a very good cover of the Rainbow song written by Russ Ballard. I think they do a great version of it. Forever in My Heart, a bit of a ballad. It's one of a great heavy metal ballad. I do like that. Never Can Say Goodbye. The guitar work is great. A great bass line from Chris. It really is strong. One Heart. Some nice acoustic guitar on this one. It really sounds good. It's very melodic. Give It Up. Classic heavy metal sound. That riff is so good. It's a fantastic vocal from John. Night Swim. Some great guitar on this. The drumming is superb from Hans. I do like his drumming on this album. Standing Tall, solid track. And the last track, Let's See, it's just a great melodic track. Nothing wrong with this. When I reviewed this when it came out, I loved it. It was a really good album, and I have got to really like this. It's one of the best albums of this lineup. They all sound great, and I think this is a decent album all round. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 7.7. Okay, coming in at number 2 is from 2003, and it's called The Journey Goes On. Very different lineup of the band here. You've got on drums and percussion Martin Johnson, on guitars, backing vocals and lead vocals Dennis Stratton, guitar, lead vocals, keyboards Chris Troy and Tino Troy. You've got split singers. You've got Doogie White, Rainbow, and he's played in MSG and that as well. He does tracks 2, 4, 6 to 8 and number 10. And John Sloman, who played with on that album with Conquest with Uriah Heep, he does 3 tracks. So the first track is called Tonight, and I like this. It's a great vocal from John. I think he's a good singer, but he didn't just fit into Uriah Heep for some reason. Excellent guitar work from Tino and Dennis, as ever. They seem to have a great little partnership. It's a great opening track. The Escape. Now we've got Doogie on the vocals, and I love Doogie White. It's an excellent track. He is a fine singer. The Journey Goes On. I love the keyboards from Tino at the beginning of this, and then Doogie comes in with that another great vocal. Some great riffs on this. Then we get Silent War, which is another Doogie track. There's some nice harmony vocals on this. They do complement Doogie. Beast Within. We're back to John. I'd say this is his best vocals on here, and it's some of the best vocals I've ever heard him do. It really suits his style of singing this song. It was right up his street. It's a fantastic song. Hold On for Love. It's melodic. It's a great vocal. Then we have my favourite track on here, If Tomorrow Never Comes. A great vocal from Doogie for a start. It's got some lovely Spanish guitar on it. It's got the best solo on the album as well. Lost World. Doogie can adapt his voice to anything. He can do the really hard, heavy metal, rock stuff, and he can do melodic, and his range is wonderful. And he does a great job of that one. The voice, this is John on the vocals now, John Sloman. It's very good. It's got an excellent guitar work from Tino and Dennis. It's an excellent track to end the album. An album that's got 2 singers is pretty consistent. They're both very good singers, and that's what I like about this album. The different styles suited, the different songs suited the singing, well put together. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. But my number one, and it always will be my number one, is actually the debut album, Time Tells No Lies. It came out in 1981. It's the original original lineup. It's Tino Troy, guitars and vocals, Steve Carroll on guitars and vocals, Chris Troy on bass, and Dave Pops on drums. First track is called Cheated. Great track. It's got that rawness. It's got the guitar work from Tino and Steve is brilliant. I do like that. Then they do a cover of a Kinks song, All Day and All of the Night. It's not a bad version of that. It's pretty powerful. Running for Tomorrow. It's very melodic. It was a little bit different. We was getting Saxon and Iron Maiden, Tigers of Pangtang. They were really heavy, and you didn't. Then you got these come along with this sort of melodic metal. It's a great track, and it's a great vocal from Steve. Rich Kid City Boys, one of my favourite tracks ever by Praying Mantis. It's just got a killer riff. It's very raw, and I absolutely adore it. Lovers to the Grave. This is what made this band a little bit different. Tracks like this, you can tell it's heavy metal, but it's got a bit more melodic to it, and it's got a really melodic bass line from Chris. It's absolutely brilliant. Then we have Panic in the Streets. Second favourite track on here, one of my favourite tracks as well. Steve's great vocal. It's just got some great guitar work on this. Brilliant. Beads of Ebony. This is a track that's got a mixture of the melodic side of things, and then it's pure heavy metal all wrapped into one. It's fused wonderfully, and I do like it. It's really different. Flirting with Suicide, one of my favourites off this album. Great drumming from Dave Pops. It's just a melodic rock track with a great bass line. And the last track is Children of the Earth. Very melodic. This is what made this band a little bit different from all the others. The guitar work from Steve and Tino is fantastic on this. This is a great album, and it does get forgotten about because of all the other great albums that were coming out at that time. This was super hard and heavy, but with a melodic tinge to it. I still love playing this album, and it brings back lots of memories. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.3. So there we go. A bit of Praying Mantis, the forgotten band, but they're still making great music. I mean, the lineup now is probably one of the best lineups they've had. It's still relevant, and I hope we hear more from this great band. Okay, coming up next, we have A Perfect Side, and we're going to go back to the mid-80s and hair metal and glam metal, and it's the breakthrough album for Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. So join me for that. Bye for now.